Clint Eastwood is more than an actor, more than a director. He is a symbol. From the steely-eyed gunslinger of the good, the bad and the ugly to the complex vision behind Million Dollar Baby and Gran Torino, Eastwood has remained a towering presence in American cinema for over 6 decades. But what lies beneath the surface of the man who shaped generations with his gruff persona and stoic charm? This video peels back the layers of the legend to uncover the deeply human story behind Clint Eastwood's myth. It's a tale of triumphs and traumas, of relentless ambition and private heartbreak. From his early days as a struggling actor to the personal tragedies that defined his inner world, we explore the price Eastwood paid to become a cultural icon. Clint Eastwood Jr. was born on May 31, 1930, in San Francisco, California, in the grips of the Great Depression. His family, constantly struggling financially, moved often in search of stability. Eastwood's father was a steelworker, and his mother worked odd jobs to keep the family afloat. Eastwood grew up with an early sense of responsibility and a longing for self-reliance. His adolescence was marked by uncertainty. The family finally settled in Piedmont, California, where Clint attended Piedmont High School. He was athletic and stood out for his tall, lean build and quiet demeanor. But he was not yet a focused student. He dabbled in music and mechanics and developed a taste for jazz that would last a lifetime. After graduating from high school in 1949, Eastwood worked a variety of odd jobs, including as a lifeguard, forest firefighter, and gas station attendant. He avoided the Korean War draft thanks to his height and a lucky break, but served as a swimming instructor at Fort Ord, California, where fate would intervene. It was at Fort Ord that Eastwood was noticed by a film assistant who encouraged him to pursue acting. Encouraged, Eastwood moved to Los Angeles, where he enrolled in acting classes and began the long, grueling climb through Hollywood's hierarchy. His early attempts were met with rejection. He was told he was too tall, his speech too slow, his expressions too stiff. The path ahead was anything but certain. But persistence won out. In 1955, he landed a contract with Universal Pictures, appearing in B-movies such as Revenge of the Creature and Tarantula. These early roles were forgettable, but they gave Eastwood a taste of the industry, and he hungered for more. Then came his breakout as Rowdy Yates in the TV series Rawhide, 1959 to 1965. The show's success introduced Eastwood to a national audience, setting the stage for his leap into film. It wasn't until he took a gamble on an Italian Western with an unknown director named Sergio Leone that everything changed. Fistful of Dollars, 1964, was a revelation. With its morally ambiguous protagonist, minimalist dialogue, and stylish violence, it redefined the Western genre. Eastwood's man with no name became a cultural archetype, stoic, deadly, unknowable. The success of Leone's Dollars trilogy, A Fistful of Dollars, For a Few Dollars More, The Good, the Bad and the Ugly, propelled Eastwood into international superstardom. He returned to Hollywood with a new persona, cool, quiet, lethal. But success came at a personal cost. Eastwood was growing distant from his wife, Maggie Johnson, whom he had married in 1953. The demands of fame, frequent travel, and Eastwood's own restlessness strained the relationship. He began a pattern of romantic entanglements that would define much of his personal life. While many saw Eastwood as simply an action star, he was determined to break the mold. In 1971, he made his directorial debut with Play Misty for Me, a psychological thriller that showcased his desire to tell darker, more nuanced stories. The same year, he starred in Dirty Harry, which would become one of his most iconic roles. As the .44 Magnum-toting Inspector Harry Callahan, Eastwood embodied the frustrated, no-nonsense American psyche. The role was both celebrated and controversial, sparking debates about justice, vigilantism, and police violence. Eastwood continued to push boundaries with his work. Films like High Plains Drifter, 1973, The Outlaw Josie Wales, 1976, and Bronco Billy, 1980, added layers of introspection and irony to the Western genre. He was no longer just the cowboy, he was the man behind the myth, confronting moral ambiguity and personal demons on screen. While Eastwood's career soared, his personal life grew increasingly complicated. His marriage to Johnson ended in divorce in 1984 after years of separations and infidelities. He had multiple affairs, some public, some secret, resulting in several children, some of whom he did not publicly acknowledge for years. The strain of secrecy, the judgment of the press, and Eastwood's own emotional walls took a toll on his family life. Friends described him as fiercely private, sometimes cold, and obsessed with control. One of his long-term relationships with actress Sondra Locke became especially tumultuous. They starred in several films together, but their off-screen relationship ended in bitterness and lawsuits. Locke later claimed Eastwood manipulated and blacklisted her in Hollywood, which he denied. The battle revealed a darker, more ruthless side to the star. In the late 1980s and early 1990s, Eastwood began to transition into the second act of his career as a serious filmmaker. His 1992 film Unforgiven was a critical and commercial triumph. The story of an aging outlaw haunted by his past, Unforgiven was a meditation on violence, guilt, and redemption. The film won 4 Academy Awards, including Best Picture and Best Director for Eastwood. It validated his evolution as an artist and cemented his place among Hollywood's great auteurs. From there, Eastwood directed a string of acclaimed films: Mystic River, $1 Million Baby, Gran Torino, American Sniper, and The Mule. Each film explored themes of masculinity, regret, loss, and resilience, echoes of Eastwood's own life journey. His minimalist style, moral complexity, and sharp instincts earned him praise from critics and filmmakers alike. Eastwood wasn't just telling stories, he was confronting his own legacy. In his later years, Eastwood faced the inescapable realities of aging. He experienced the deaths of close friends and collaborators, including Don Siegel and Sergio Leone. He spoke less publicly, but when he did, his words were reflective, tinged with sorrow and wisdom. He acknowledged past mistakes, especially in relationships, and expressed a desire to stay connected to his children. While some relationships remained strained, others improved with time. He found a quiet joy in being a grandfather, embracing a side of life that had once seemed foreign to him. Eastwood also confronted physical decline. Though he continued to work into his 90s, his pace slowed, and he began to think more about the legacy he would leave behind. He gave interviews about the nature of mortality, creativity, and the loneliness that often accompanies great ambition. In 2021, Eastwood released Cry Macho, a film about an aging rodeo star on a journey of redemption. The film echoed Eastwood's own narrative, a man looking back with regret, but still chasing purpose. Critics were divided on the film, but most agreed that it was a deeply personal work. Eastwood, still directing and starring in his 90s, defied every expectation of aging in Hollywood. He continued to champion new talent, support smaller productions, and remain active in shaping the industry. Away from the cameras, he has lived a quiet life in Carmel-by-the-Sea, California, where he once served as mayor. He plays piano, reads history, and avoids the spotlight. Despite controversies, Eastwood's impact on American cinema is indisputable. He reshaped the Western, challenged Hollywood norms, and told stories that reflected the complexity of human experience. He remains a rare blend of toughness and vulnerability, artistry and instinct. In many ways, Eastwood's life has paralleled the characters he portrayed: the lone drifter, the wounded warrior, the aging hero seeking redemption. The themes of resilience and regret run deep, not only in his work but in his existence. His personal tragedies, from failed relationships to fractured families, remain poignant counterpoints to his public triumphs. And yet, through all of it, Eastwood has remained remarkably productive. Few in the film industry have had careers spanning so many decades, genres, and cultural movements. His legacy is one of quiet endurance and relentless reinvention. In interviews, he has spoken of his love for music, nature, and solitude. There is a poetic symmetry in the way Eastwood, once the face of violence and justice, now seeks peace in the quiet corners of life. But his influence still ripples through cinema, politics, and pop culture. The story of Clint Eastwood is still being written, not only in the films he may yet create, but in the lives of the artists he inspired and the audiences he moved. As he approaches the twilight of his years, the cowboy rides on, not into the sunset, but into cinematic immortality. If Clint Eastwood's journey moved you, his rise from obscurity, his battles behind the scenes, and his unflinching commitment to his craft, then this story has done its job. His life is not just a tale of fame, but a reflection of endurance, transformation, and the high cost of becoming a legend. If you found this video compelling, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us bring more in-depth, humanizing portraits of the icons you thought you knew. Let us know in the comments. What's your favorite Clint Eastwood film?